Behold the King of Kings. On your knees, dog. All hail. Bow down to the King.
There we go.
What
That's how you
dork.
extremely big dork, but a Triple H dork. What is going on, everybody? It is the time. The time is now. I had to do that. I'm sorry. I am the Triple H of this league, but here we go. The title match. We're all ready for this. So if anybody else has anything they want to say, are you guys ready?
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready.
5 months waiting this long. I think we're all ready. All right. So coming up first, get her music all ready. I think we can
My
hear
fake
it.
intro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. She is the queen herself. She is 3-0. Please welcome Miss Jen Camp.
Thanks for having me back.
You're back. Congratulations for making us this. And her opponent, he is 5-0. He is the guy who brought us all incest with Star Wars. He is the streak. He is the Undertaker of our group. Hopefully he won't lose.
That's not favoritism.
Give it up for Mr. Dohmen, Chris the Streak Dohmen. How you guys both feeling tonight?
Oh, good
Feeling
Lord.
good.
I'm nervous.
I'm excited. I want to jump ahead to one of the questions.
Right?
Well, it's been a busy week for me. I had the show last night, which David Abrams was very spazzy, so that was fun. And then we talked about this for 10 minutes. Matt raining it to everybody that he's going to take over the whole world in this whole league. Which, Matt, I love you, but come on, man.
I'm saying, how many more times do I have to beat him?
I don't know. It's Evan and Matt
Got
right
some
now.
dignity, man.
Evan and Matt are the number one, the guys who might face Aaron Turner. We need to get more guys. I'm sorry, but these two, if it's becoming this predictable. But anyway, it's not now. May 29th, that will be. Let's get into it now, guys. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Super ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's fight. Round one is which is the greatest summer movie of all time. Now, because Chris is the favorite, we are going to let him go first. But that means that Jen can. So what we're going to do is 4 rounds of this match. Now, if either or 3-0, it's a knockout, and they will be declared the champion. But if it's a 2-2 going into the fourth one, we will have a split tiebreaker, which is the split decision with the basic question. So, Chris, what is your opinion, the greatest summer movie of all time?
Well, see, for me, the greatest summer movie of all time is a summer movie that, A, stands the test of time, B, is accessible to, obviously, the summer-going audience, which is families, adults, children, and the like. And it has to appeal to them on not just a big ooh-ah level, but also on an emotional level. And that's why I'm going with the 2003 Pixar animated classic Finding Nemo.
Oh.
Well,
I really thought he was going to pick Star Wars.
And to be fair, I easily could, but to be honest, this is a better movie than Star Wars. And here's why.
I'm going to fight you on that.
Well, no, fair enough. Please do once we get into this. But when you have a script that is as pitch perfect as the first Finding Nemo, when you have a voice cast that I don't think there has been a better one since in any animated film. Not to mention the fact that, like I said, this came out in 2003 when everyone was still afraid of what computers could do. it still holds up. It's still incredible. There is not a single frame of that film that doesn't look absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, you also got the mass appeal. So that's why I'm going with Finding Nemo as the greatest summer movie of all time.
Okay, Miss the Queen herself, you are more than welcome to go now.
Before I launch into it, is there a time limit on these things, or just kind
On
of?
this one, where you just say with real quick, and then we're going to get into the normal, which is the 2 minutes when you guys can debate. But right now, you're just giving me your one and the reason why.
Okay. Okay. I'm really glad you didn't say. We didn't confer on our choices
He told
beforehand,
me,
so I'm like,
but
I know.
No, she didn't tell me.
I forgot to send mine in, so I didn't. But so I'm always on all of these. I'm really scared that you're gonna say mine. So I'm glad that I have this one because I'm super excited. Okay.
I'm kind of happy that
When you
later
think.
on, we're like, there's 2 questions for this. We're going to be saying which one is first.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad we're doing that. But let's just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So, greatest summer movie. When you want a summer movie, it's got to be big. It's got to be loud. It has to be fun. It has to get people excited to go to the theater, get out of the sun, be in a theater for 2 hours, get excited. So, most importantly, summer movie, you have to have something that's going on in the summer. And what's more summer than Independence Day? Okay? This is a movie that it is based in the summer. It is in the summer. It is every year you're reminded, 4th of July, hey, what should I watch? Independence Day on Independence Day. It is specifically, it's just, there's a whole holiday that it's just based on, basically, that you can go to any TNT, TBS, they're going to be playing it every year. You can go back. It's got comedy, action, fun, romance. Jeff Goldblum, it launched Will Smith's career, really, as a film icon. And it has the most patriotic, oh, there we go, right there, yeah. It has the most patriotic moment ever of just the fuck yeah, America feeling to it with Bill Pullman's iconic speech, one of the best, most ridiculous speeches there ever is in cinema. And it is something that I will revisit over and over again every summer, in the summer, on Independence Day.
Well, we can both say at least, especially for me, that the sequel we'll just not talk about because
we're not going to talk about that at all.
No,
so, yeah.
No, yeah, fuck that movie. All right, 2 minutes on the clock, and go ahead, guys, fight.
Okay, now I very much respect your choice because Independence Day is one of the most fun summer blockbusters of all time. But
yeah,
is it really that good of a movie, though?
It is a great movie. It has multiple storylines with character arcs that all tie into each other at the end of the movie. There are great characters in there, from Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, to even just our little sideways with Harvey Fierstein. But on yours, Finding Nemo, it's a great movie. But is it a great summer movie? It happened to come out in the summer. But when you think summer movie, you don't automatically think, oh, Pixar's like, that came out in the summer. Like, it's good for families, but older adults, like, this is one of those movies that they'd be excited to be in the theater because they're already there and they're not being hit over the head with minions for 2 hours. But it's not something that in the summertime you're going to go, oh, I want to go spend time in a theater for 2 hours looking at the beach when I could have just gone to the beach a minute ago.
Now, to be fair,
right,
that is slightly better than watching a movie for 2 hours and getting knocked over the head with a patriotism boner that is trying so hard to stay erect that honestly, even though they gave it as much Viagra as they humanly possibly could, it's still just dumb.
You're totally, yeah, exactly. It's dumb. The summer movie season is the foundation of the summer movie season is dumb fun. As Ellis would say, a 2-corn movie. Independence Day is a 3-corn movie. It is just
so Chris,
loud and obnoxious.
I want to hear what Chris has to say. Why? Pause the time real quick. 24 seconds. I do want to hear what Chris has to say, though, because you have said enough for Independence Day. I know.
It's awesome.
But I know. I still haven't heard why Chris has debated why Finding Nemo is worth it. So we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. Give him at least that time.
Okay.
To discuss it. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
The reason why for Finding Nemo is because, like I said, what also is important about the summertime, it's when kids are out of school and when they're actually getting to spend time with their families. And what is honestly a better way to spend time with your family than seeing a movie about a family that is struggling to actually stay together and actually coming together? Because what happens? a family basically gets wiped out, and they're trying to hold on to each other. But then some events rip them apart, and it's
Time.
through. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay, so in the
You're
summer
good.
movie season, I would much rather watch Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum team up and save the world than have Albert Brooks complain for 2 hours with Ellen DeGeneres and have existential thoughts. That's not what I go to the theater for in the summer. I go to have fun and
All right.
yeah.
All right. Final rebuttalments. Chris, go ahead.
Actually, you can't
You
have
say
her go
Chris.
first.
Chris.
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yep. No, go. Chris, go ahead. I say Chris.
All right.
I don't think you heard me.
Okay. Independence Day is a good for probably a 1 to 2 time watch. The other reason that we go to summer movies is we want to go see them over and over and over and over and over again. Finding Nemo can do it because every time you watch it, you pick up on one little new thing. There's always something to come back to. The rewatchability factor is what has made such a great film and why it has stood the test of time. Independence Day, yeah, like I said, it's good for the time. It's good for the time period it came out in when we as Americans, we needed that because we were just coming out of the Gulf War and we just needed to feel good about ourselves. Finding Nemo came out post 9/11 when we really needed to feel good about ourselves, and that's why it's the more needed film that I think is just more rewatchable.
Okay, Jen, go ahead and give your final rebuttalments.
Right, way to drag 9/11 into this. Well, like Pixar, they're great. Okay, like Finding Nemo is a great movie. Is it the best summer movie? I actually would have gone for something more like Toy Story. That's more fun for the full family. Finding Nemo, there's some dark stuff in there, and it really has a lot of lows that really bring you down emotionally. Independence Day is just one fist bump after another. You can watch it in the summer, during the summer. Finding Nemo is more of a just anytime I feel like watching a movie kind of thing. In the summertime, I want to watch a summer movie. That would be Independence Day.
Okay, I've heard enough. I do think right now on Rotten Tomatoes, Finding Nemo has a 98%, so it really got close with the audience. I believe Finding Nemo is over a billion.
Percentages have no bearing on summer.
They do not.
This is fact check, okay? For summer movies, I think both of these movies made a crap ton of money at the time, so we could say that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this was, like Andy says, this is tough because you both
take a shot.
You both went one way, and then you both went another, and then you both at the very end.
It's a dance.
Here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to give the point to Jen. And the reason why I'm giving
you're an American and you believe in America and Independence Day.
I am American, but I'm also a Samoan, so either or. But
a lot of things are making sense now.
Yes, but Chris did get me sold. It's just that last one. I know 9/11 was a really big event. It was a really bad event. We're talking about this.
We don't need to fight about the importance.
We don't. I know. But we're talking about the summer movie season. Jang had that sold at the very end. But, because I did have family who did not make that. But, Finding Nemo is still a great movie, and he gave a really great point, so Jang gets the point for the first part. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Round 2. What is the most underrated MCU movie? And it's because Guardians of the Galaxy comes out this week. I don't know about you. I'm seeing it tomorrow. I'm a little nervous. But
just have fun. It's a summer movie. Just have fun, Chris.
Fast and Furious 8 can get me loving it. I'm hoping Guardians can. So my question for you is, what's the most underrated movie, MCU film? I'm going to let Jane go first because Chris went last time.
Yeah, okay. This was the one I was worried about because there's only a few choices here. So I would say the most underrated MCU movie would be Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh my God!
Was that it? Did I steal his?
No.
Okay.
Last week on Take 3 podcast. This is gonna be fun.
All right. Anyway, so basically, Captain America: The First Avenger, it builds foundation, which is so important for the future of the MCU. The Avengers franchise, it needed to have this foundation in order to succeed. And we had Iron Man, we had Thor before that, but Iron Man is always kind of just the flare on the end of the storyline for Avengers. Steve Rogers is the foundation. He's the backbone of the team. And so what was I saying? It's also from the other movies. It does something drastically different with its setting and everything in the World War II. And it has an all-star cast with Tommy Lee Jones and Stanley Tucci are freaking fantastic, and Hugo Weaving as Red Skull is one of the better Marvel villains, even though he does his whole little thing where he doesn't care about blockbuster movies after the fact, but he goes back and forth on those things. I'd love to see him come back. What else? We had the dawn of one of the better female characters in the MCU movie with Peggy Carter. She's not just this bimbo love interest. She's also part of the story. She's part of the plot. She drives it forward. She pushes Steve to be a better person. And basically it also very key, there's a lot of key elements that are introduced here from Armin Zola, who comes in later and everything, and just the Tesseract, which is apparently like the freaking biggest thing in the MCU. And most importantly, the romance between Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes, which is like the quintessential plotline of every single storyline from now on. Who knew that was going to happen? But basically, it's a great movie. It has heart. It has comedy. There's action. And it just ties everything up so nicely. And it only really gets forgotten because Winter Soldier and Civil War were so just beyond what had been thought of before as a comic book movie. And it's just a shame because this is a nice little gem inside the MCU movie. And Chris Evans is just fantastic as this character. He totally embodies it. And it's someone that you root for. Like, he's Tony Stark. You can't really connect with him. We're not all playboy billionaires. But Steve Rogers, he's an American, another America. This is a theme for the night. He's an American. He's a good guy. He just wants to be a good guy and do the right thing. And he gets bullied for it. But he just, through his perseverance and everything, it's a great story just to follow this character grow throughout the MCU. And he's the foundation that we're looking forward to seeing more from in the Infinity Wars and everything.
You see, we can't all be cased with those billionaires, Playboy guys, type guys. But Chris, go ahead.
Very interesting choice. Jacob London would absolutely love you, Jen.
I love this movie too, but I do want to hear what Chris has to say.
Okay, so when we talk about an underrated, when you talk about what gets lost in the shuffle, I always look at what I think has the most relevance, but also, again, people just talk about like one or two minor nitpicks and they instantly throw it away. And that for me is Avengers: Age of Ultron. Because everyone talks about the first Avengers and how it redefined cinema because we never saw this kind of thing before on screen, and then we get the second one and everyone just writes it off because we already saw stuff in the first one. No, we didn't. We didn't see for the first time since ever in the MCU movie. We got to see Captain America actually have something of an arc. We got to see Black Widow really actually be developed more as a character in these films. We got to see people make mistakes and actually have to deal with it. For example, the creation of Ultron. Tony Stark, his single biggest mistake in his entire universe so far was the creation of this metal monstrosity that goes around and wreaks havoc on an entire country, for God's sakes. Played brilliantly by James Spader, who, why does everyone write him off as a bad guy, as one of the worst MCU villains? Really? You're going to write him off that quickly, even though he has a lot of great lines, a great introduction, a great send-off, and is partially responsible for one of the better Avengers currently, and that's Vision. And again, you want to talk about fantastic action sequences? Let's go to the fight in Sokovia, and let's go to the motorcycle chase. When they're chasing the armored car, where the big computer thing is that Helen shows on, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite MCU moments. Period. But of course, though, everyone has to write off because we've seen all this before. It's like it saddens me to see one of my personal favorite MCU films just get written off so easily. So for me, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay, 2 minutes on the clock.
Oh man, I am so glad you picked this. Okay, so 2 words for you: Thor jacuzzi. Okay, this Age of Ultron is just this mess of plot lines. It almost killed Joss Whedon, one of the best directors for this kind of fanboy culture and everything. It almost killed him having to go through and set up all these stupid little expositional plot lines for something way down the line that he wouldn't even be a part of. So it just crushed his soul. There's far too much going on. Like Ultron, the marketing for this film completely flipped the script on what they were pushing it, just like Iron Man 3, which people reacted badly to when they see Ben Kingsley's Mandarin being this awesome badass. They showed Ultron being this ultimate threat, and he ended up being more of this weird psychosis from Tony, and it was just this crazy web of confusion and psyches, and it's just crazy.
Which I will argue that's what makes him arguably so brilliant, is that he is the amalgamation of every bad desire that Tony has. It is represented in every action that Ultron does. And the thing is, without the character without that part of it, then yes, Ultron is boring. But the fact that he actually has that small amount of humanity in him, that's what causes him to ultimately be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to destroy the world to save it. So.
But in that sense, it just became this extension of Tony. Do we have to have every single Avengers MCU movie to be about Tony Stark and his never-ending stupidity on how he wants to save the world, and he's always the cause of every problem that we've had in these big climactic sky beam moments? And let's talk about some of the other characters. Even throw Ultron aside. Let's say maybe he is a good villain. Let's talk about how they completely rewrite Black Widow's character. She has never had any kind of interaction really with Mark Ruffalo other than being totally terrified of him possibly killing her.
Yeah, we're gonna need more time to get these arguments out, man.
Yeah, let's do one more minute on the clock. Go ahead, guys. One more.
All right, Jen, I'll let you finish up your point, then I'll go for it.
But yeah, the Black Widow, Mark Ruffalo weird romance where they just decided, hey, we need a romance in this film, and the writers were so out of left field trying to figure out how we can hit all these little check boxes without actually tying it in together. We have to set up Black Panther, so let's get Andy Serkis out here for some weird little speech about cuttlefish. They ran out of so many ideas. They actually had to get Hawkeye, the character that no one cared about in all of the MCU fandom. Let's give him a family. Let's give him a backstory, because why the hell not? Because we don't know what else we're doing in this movie.
As opposed to First Avenger, where you want to talk about characters that go nowhere. Look, all due respect to Cap, but in the first movie, he has no arc. He has nothing. He is the same character that at the beginning of the movie that he is at the end. There is no character change whatsoever with the film.
He goes from a character having no physical power and having this want to save and protect people, having no ability to do it.
I'm talking purely with the mindset, baby. He is the same exact person at the beginning that he is at the end. Because here's the thing, what's his motivation? It never changes. It's the same no matter what. Then you also have Tommy Lee Jones, who's always constantly downing him. You have Red Skull, who is so boring as the villain.
Oh,
Sorry.
He's delightful. He is delightful Nazi.
Okay. All right.
Hashtag delightful Nazis.
Hashtag delightful Nazis. Oh, my Lord. Jen,
he brought up 9/11. I'm allowed to bring up Nazis.
Final rebuttlement. Jen.
Okay. I would disagree with Cap. He has changed throughout. He's always been a protector and a savior. However, his abilities and the people that he has seen along the way have given him a different viewpoint. Before, he was just a general, I want to do good, I want to serve my country. And then it got focused more on saving his friends, saving his allies, saving Peggy Carter. And basically, it's just, he is the backbone of the universe. This was a building moment for him. He didn't have as crazy an arc as Age of Ultron, because Age of Ultron has no idea where it's going. So they're going to be all over the place. And no one learned a damn thing in Age of Ultron either, except for Scarlet Witch realized, oh, I have magic and I can use it.
Okay. Chris, go ahead.
The problem with Captain America: The First Avenger is that, like I said, aside from the fact that the characters don't really have much progression outside of, I will argue, maybe Bucky, but that's because they're just trying to set them up for later on in the films. In this first film, no one does anything in terms of who they are as people. They're still the same. They don't actually change until later on in the series, which, yes, then they become great characters. Then they become amazing. Age of Ultron, we actually do see some change. We see Tony actually start to become a little more paranoid. In Age of Ultron, we see Hulk.
He's so paranoid already.
We see Hulk deciding, you know what? Maybe this whole idea of trying to do this, trying to actually use my powers for good, maybe it's not working for me. That's why he has to run off. And why, to be honest, not to mention the fact that this movie is arguably the best scene in any of the MCU movies. Everybody is
What scene is
sitting
that?
around at the bar and they're just actually being people. They're being
Oh, you mean that
real.
thing that like totally would just be like this behind the scenes look at that would totally be cut if it wasn't for Joss Whedon wanting to have moments? Is that what you mean? Something straight out of Serenity? That's what it was.
As opposed to the by the numbers storyline of the first Avenger, which literally the predictability is so unfortunate because unfortunately Joe Johnston, well, he can't direct to save his life. Joss Whedon, on the other hand, yeah, because he had
Joss
those little
Whedon hates
moments.
Age of Ultron. You picked a movie that he hates, a movie that he made that he hates, and he wishes he didn't do it.
Yeah, but
I made some movies in my career and I hate.
and that sucks for him. But it's not his fault that he actually did add some brilliance to it where other directors didn't, like Joe Johnston. Sorry. No. Final thing though. This movie actually. Okay, yes, Captain America did bring up some important things for later on in the future films. But the fact that this movie single-handedly brought us the best MCU movie to date, that being Civil War,
Disagree
because
on
of
that too.
everything that happened in Sokovia, I'd say because of the impact it made on the franchise as a whole, that's why it gets overlooked so much. That's why I feel it's so underrated.
Winter Soldier is the best movie in the MCU.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, Chris, but I honestly,
man.
I'm gonna say this real quick before we get into it. I like Civil War. My biggest problem with that movie is the villain. I hate the villain because I told this to Matt, and Matt has yelled at me so many times. I cannot stand Zemo as a villain. But there's certain points that if you watch the show, we will talk about it. I like the movie a lot. It's my third favorite, but it's the Winter Soldier. But based on the arguments, I'm gonna give the point to Chris, and here's the reason why. And I was tracking this since the second part. Jen, you kept saying the problems, but I did not hear enough from the first Avenger. I've heard some stuff, but Chris literally swept you under the ground because he kept pointing out things where I didn't hear enough from you. And that is why I'm giving the point to him. Although both movies are very much judged
Harshly.
If I would say what is my underrated, which a movie I actually like better, is my sixth favorite Marvel movie, I would say Thor, and the first one. And Thor Ragnarok is actually my most anticipated superhero movie of the year. So let's get into
Thor was my backup.
Yeah. Let's get into my favorite round 3. All right.
Oh, God.
So Fast and Furious 8 made $1 billion in just 2 weeks at the box office. Which is a record-breaking. It didn't make as much as the last film, and I don't think it will make as much as the last film.
Oh, good for you.
Have you even seen it yet?
Hell no. I respect myself.
It's really good.
It is really good. All right.
I probably will check it out. I just need to take some time.
Well, I mean, look, Matt hated the last. We didn't hate it. He did not like Furious 7, and he really enjoyed this one.
And that's one I actually like.
Yeah, well, Matt, we'll talk to Matt. We'll maybe leave that for a question sometime. So, in Fast and Furious 8, we get something interesting with The Rock and Jason Statham, and they've already announced my bae, The Rock, and they've already announced a spinoff movie. So, pitch me a Hobbs and Jason Statham spinoff movie. Chris, you get to go first. Make me proud.
Okay, so at the beginning of this movie, the character of Deckard Shaw is just wondering where the hell his life has gone. He is bummed out by the fact that now he, had to work alongside his worst enemy. He's wondering what happened to the good old days where I was just an assassin out killing people. So, given the nature of these films, we're going to go a little ridiculous. We're going to have a little fun here. He hears rumors about someone trying to sell a teleporter on the black market. He comes across this teleporter and he decides to purchase it, see what it can do, and he hires some people to explain it to him and get it to work. He steps through it, through not one but 2 different universes, and on his tail is his new friend / turned enemy again, Hobbs, who is Now being like, you know what, screw it. I've had enough of this guy. I've had enough of him
Alright.
trying to steal my spotlight.
Okay.
But as he's on the chase, he comes across a character who looks just like Deckard Shaw, but it's not him. They get in a fight for a second, but he's like, "No, my name's Frank Martin. We're bringing in the transporter, baby."
Oh shit.
And then as the movie progresses, we come to realize what is Shaw's plan. He is using his teleporter to find the world that we live in to destroy Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. Basically, this is this generation's last action hero. How
Ooh.
can you possibly go wrong when you have these real people, you have the Fast and Furious franchise, and you have, in my opinion, the underrated Transporter series? Again.
And yeah, he doesn't mention my bae. The Rock. My dude crush.
Is he done?
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
we're done. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. All right. So, just a little backup here. I was on a business trip that last weekend, and I had a flight home. So this is what I did on the flight home. So strap in. This is gonna be a long one. All right. So, okay. What is the most important thing in the Fast and Furious franchise, other than like cars, chicks, and ice cold Coronas? It is family. Family. See, there you go. It is family. Although we've seen little hints of Hobbs' backstory, we don't really know his family. So let's go a little deeper, and we're going to learn what makes Hobbs. Okay, so opening action sequence, because we need to have one of those. Our opening action set piece, we are jumping back in time. Not in some kind of crazy time travel thing like Chris is. We're just going back in time because the Fast and Furious franchise does this with timelines. We are opening up when Hobbs is still part of the whatever the hell he's part of, FBI or CIA or whatever it is. And I'm not trying to save Han. I'm just going to put that out there off the bat. I'm not saving Han. Leave him alone. He's dead. Give it up. Okay, so we open up in a shipyard in California. And there's this cartel meeting between the Mexican cartel and the Chinese triad, and they're going to be selling drugs for guns, a trade-off. And we got some cool characters, but everything goes to shit when Hobbs and his team bust in the door. We have this huge action sequence with him just knocking shit, people going overboard on top of this giant tanker.
Daddy's
Obviously, Chinese triad gets away and everything. The cartel, he corners the head honcho young guy, and the young guy kind of gives the look of, you don't know who you're messing with, you don't want to do this and everything, and he goes, oh yeah, I do, I think I care, and he has to shoot him because the guy pulls a gun on him, so he shoots him, he goes, I don't care, job's done. Okay, so that's the opening sequence, blah, 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 the title screen stuff. Okay, so we jump back into the events present day after Fate of the Furious. Minor spoilers for Fate of the Furious. If you haven't seen it, you don't care about what I'm gonna say. So he already knows that they're friends. So so as we know, at the end of Fate of the Furious, Hobbs is kind of he's sitting back a little bit. He wants to spend time with his daughter, family, the most open up with it's career day at Samantha's school. And so we get some fun little comedy, physical comedy with him standing in front of all these kids and they're going, are you a superhero kind of stuff? And they have like kindergarten cop kind of feelings there. But who is also there? His wife, his ex-wife, played by the beautiful and talented Tandy Newton, as you'd see her in Westworld. I looked it up. They're very similar in age, and it makes sense for the daughter. So she's an ex-wife. She is a lawyer, also part of the law enforcement kind of system. However, where Hobbs plays fast and loose, busts heads, she does it in the courtroom, believes in the justice system as it is. So she had to break it off with Hobbs because he was always putting himself in danger, and she wanted to be more focused on the family, do the right thing. So they couldn't work out, but they still see each other, obviously, because they care about Samantha and they share custody and everything. So he swears to her, as we saw afterwards, that he's kind of done with that kind of part of his life where he's going to be more of a father to his daughter. And she goes, I'd like to believe that, but we'll see. So she has custody of Samantha for the weekend or whatever. So he goes off and has some beers with the guys or whatever. But boom, Cartel shows up, kills Tandy Newton. Luckily, she was able to hide away Samantha in the corner, so she's fine. But Tandy Newton is dead. So Hobbs goes to Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell, the awesome guy, and says, "What the hell happened here? Why is this happening to me?" And he brings up the whole info of, "Hey, remember a couple years ago when you took out the cartel at that shipyard? Well, that kid is the son of this head honcho leader down in Mexico, played by none other than Danny Trejo." And I'm just going to call him Don Plaga for the rest of the time. He's Don Plaga, the Spanish plague, because he brings the drugs and he brings the war, he brings the death. All right. So Hobbs wants to go after him, obviously, because he had kind of this little revenge thing. He wanted to take something from Hobbs that he took his son from him, so he had to take something back. So Hobbs obviously wants to go after him. However, Mr. Nobody points out that there's some tension right now between the U.S. and Mexico. We can't be going down across enemy lines for little personal vendettas. Topical. So Hobbs has to, go rogue. So he breaks off through a series of events. He goes through his old channels, some punk kid that he busted a couple years back for doing whatever. Played by, guess what? Diego Luna, everyone's favorite Mexican right now from Rogue One.
Nice.
And his girlfriend is, I'm going to kill this name.
Please say Natalie Portman. Please say Natalie Portman.
What? No. No, we are not whitewashing this cast, okay? We got Danny Trejo, we got Diego Luna, and we have a newcomer, Eiza Gonzalez. She is currently, you can see her in Baby Driver when it comes out. I just saw Baby Driver the other day, and she's fantastic. She's beautiful. She's kick-ass. She fits into this world. So they're going to be a little like a duo, and they're going to help Hobbs get across the border and get into cartel land and figure out how he can get close to Danny Trejo. But Hobbs, Mr. Nobody doesn't want Hobbs doing all this shit because he doesn't want any kind of confusion with the cartel and everything because of all the Trump on the wall and the stuff. So he puts him on like the most wanted list, so he can't get across the border. So we got immigration FBI specialist played by Sigourney Weaver. We need a couple more badass women in this franchise that are more than just some tits and ass kind of thing. So Sigourney Weaver is mostly the one that's kind of chasing after her with all her guys. We got chases going across the border. We got train sequences. We got boats. So moving forward, let's see, where am I?
But I
told you I spent a lot of time on this.
Are there torpedoes getting kicked by the Rock in this movie?
Please. Oh, please.
There are definitely tanks. There are tanks, grenades, explosions and stuff. So anyway. We're going to jump. So there's a lot of montage. So we got Diego Luna and Eiza Gonzalez. They're kind of leading him through the underground of Mexico and kind of getting him close to that world because he's not used to that because he's more of the right side of the law instead of the bad. And so basically, like, they're getting ready. They're almost ready. They have all the info on how they're going to get into the compound to take out Danny Trejo. But the night before, they're ready. They're preparing. They have this whole little barbecue because that's what we do in this franchise is you have barbecues whenever you talk to people. So he's getting ready. He steps outside to go get ready. And who shows up? Jason Statham. That's right. Mr. Nobody sent Jason Statham to go get Hobbs and stop him from doing this because he didn't want to send Dom and the crew because he knows they're family and they would help Hobbs before they would take him out, whatever it is. They don't know about any of this stuff that went down with his wife and everything because whatever, they're on vacation. So we get the awesome Statham The Rock fight that we haven't had since whenever. It hasn't been long enough. So they're just going to tear into each other. Yeah, Furious 7, but that was so short, not fair. All right, so we get to see them totally knock out. The Rock kind of has him on the ropes. They're totally beat the hell on both of them. But boom, the cartel shows up. Takes them both, captured. They bring him to Danny Trejo. He does this whole little monologue thing of like, oh, you think you can just walk in? And he's like, I am finishing what I started all those years ago with my son. The Chinese triad is there. And we have our two awesome henchmen on Danny Trejo's side. How does one defeat The Rock? With a mountain. the Mountain from Game of
kidding.
Thrones, Thor Bjorgensson, will be fighting The Rock in the final climactic battle. And Jason Statham, he's more of a martial artist, so we need someone that can really bring something new to the table and kind of put him in more of a thing other than the guns. So let's bring in. It's not gonna be like. We need more badass women. Okay, we do. So it'll be Zhang Ziyi, known from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hero, House of Flying Daggers. She's badass. She can totally do this. She doesn't even need to speak because all she needs to do is fight Jason Statham. That's why she's there. So Danny Trejo has them do the little monologue thing. He goes off to do business with the Triad. They're going to just execute them, be done. But boom, Diego Luna called Dom and friends. So at the last minute, we have huge explosions. Everybody's chiming in, and they're creating this huge distraction so that The Rock can fight the Mountain and Jason Statham can fight Zhang Ziyi. And it's very similar to like Rush Hour 2 kind of thing, which was also her, where you have like he's making jokes about, oh, I don't want to fight the girl and everything, but they're badass, so they can both, obviously they're both gonna win because that's how this is gonna go. And then at the end, like the Hobbs finally corners Danny Trejo, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you and everything." He's like, "That's fine. I'm gonna see my son, and I'll see your wife in hell and everything." And he instead of pulling the trigger, which Hobbs usually does, he doesn't pull the trigger because that's what Tandy Newton, a lawyer, would want. He gets sent to jail, which means you can come back later, and everybody goes home, and we close out with Samantha's birthday. Everybody's there. We have no more Coronas. There were no Coronas in Fate of the Furious, and that was the weirdest thing to me.
It was not.
Worst movie ever.
Yeah, so we bring it back, and we have our birthday party with everybody, and Jason Statham he's still a friend of me kind of thing. They respect each other, and he's like, "Oh, I only did it because like I didn't want you to do anything stupid," and they still say, "I want to finish that fight." He's sad about losing Tandy Newton, even though he was his ex-wife, he still loved her and everything. But John gets to close it out with, he's like, "Oh, Samantha, I always just want her to have a family." And he goes, "He does. We're a family." Boom. Credits roll. Some weird Little John song or whatever. Yeah. All right. So that's it.
All of me wants all of you. Let's get into the 2 minutes and go ahead.
I was going to say, or do I have to go through for 30 minutes to go through all those points, or?
It took. I think this. I don't know how long this was, but it felt like an hour.
I'm kidding.
I know. We're just pulling our strings.
So my only thing is, now, why did I actually like Furious 7? Because I thought Jason Statham played a really great villain. And I'm sorry, but I want to see him do a film where he actually can play the villain. But I also want to see a film where he goes back to playing a hero instead of just anti-hero, because he basically was a good guy in the Transporter series. All that he did was just, he had rules, you follow them, great. You don't, then you're screwed. He was a man of principle, a man of morals. And so I'm sorry, but I just want to see him do that role, and I want to see him actually be a main player in this, not just sort of kind of there. Granted, to be honest, Jen, I want to see your movie.
Okay.
But I do want to see your movie too.
I'm going to point out that this is a Hobbs spin-off featuring Deckard. Like, this is The Rock's movie. The Rock has basically taken over this franchise. When you see Fate of the Furious, you'll see like these two, they're the standouts, but he is the Rock of this franchise now, and he needs to be the lead. You said you want to have Deckard be a hero. That's what he would be in my movie, because he has to play both sides. There's respect there, but they do have to take each other out in order to finish the main objective. My problem with your movie is, where's Hobbs? Hobbs is the main person that people have latched onto since Fast 5, and he is just this afterthought in your crazy crossover, crazy executive producer, I want money kind of movie. And why are they enemies at this point? Why are they enemies again? Because they kind of hit a moment where they're kind of on the same level. Like, they're not gonna go skiing or anything together, but they respect each other and they'll work together if needed.
All right, final rebuttals. Go ahead, Chris.
The reason I want to see these two as enemies and not as friends is because I don't buy them as friends. Now, granted, I haven't seen Fate of the Furious, so I don't know how their relationship actually is. So, like I said, I'm going in a little bit blind to this question, but that's fine. They worked so great as adversaries in Furious 7. And I'm so pissed their fight was only so short. Now, if we can do a chase that has multiple interactions between Hobbs, Frank Martin, and Deckard Shaw, and yeah, like I said, yeah, sure, you doubled his Statham, but to be fair, his screen time is only about the same because lest I forget, who's on his tail the whole entire time? Who's trying to follow him at every turn? Hobbs. It's still a Hobbs story. But Deckard Shaw is the one who has to initiate these events and is trying to, basically undo his own life because, like I said, at this point, he is sick of it. He is sick of being, feeling like he has no control over his life, and when he finds like, oh my god, so wait, my life is this. It's kind of like Freddy Krueger in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He's appalled by the fact that he's this fictional character, so he's trying to undo it. That's and to be honest, that could raise a lot of great questions. Like, if you found out that was the case with your life, wouldn't you try to stop that? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I know I've already lost the point, but.
No, that was really interesting.
But yeah, so like I said, and plus we need a last action hero of this generation. That's actually a good version of that movie.
The Last Action Hero is a good version of that movie. My problem with your movie is leave the Transporter alone. The first Transporter is a fantastic movie. The second one, they're okay, but it's a completely different tone. Like the Transporter movies, yeah, there's a lot of like out there craziness, but it's all this realistic action. We get in Fast and Furious, we're kicking missiles, we're jumping ships, like it's craziness. To have them smashed together, it's gonna be an insult to both franchises. And honestly, the studio rights for this are giving me a headache, and it's a mess. You keep talking about how you want them to chase and undo, but what are we undoing? And I don't know. I feel like the Transporter is trying to take over this franchise where it should be The Rock taking over this franchise instead.
Interesting. I'm going to say something real quick. I have seen The Transporters 2. I think that's a fine movie. I enjoyed it. I have seen 3. I have not seen 1. And it's on my list this week.
Oh.
I have not.
It's really good.
I have not. Everyone keeps telling me. I recently saw Crank a couple weeks ago, and the second one, which actually I kind of dug.
Crank would have fit better in Fast and the Furious, by the way.
Yeah, but there's hard R that Crank went for. So,
I don't want that, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this was a tough one, and this is one that I think this is probably the toughest question for me, just as a judge, because it came down to the final rebutments because we listened to both. But I'm going to go Chris because here's the thing. This is a big surprise. I know. What lately have the Fast and Furious? What lately have the Fast and Furious?
I'm writing The Rock a note, and I'm letting him know that you went against his movie because that movie is not The Rock's movie.
Do it. Do it. Oh! Look at that! You made him walk up.
I killed him.
I'm okay with that.
Oh,
did I say out loud?
Here's the thing. What lately? I know it's going to probably get a controversial thing. What lately have the Fast and Furious movies kind of been around? Stupid shit. Stupid stuff. When you literally have to chase a device, like the one that they did in Fast 6, I don't remember what it was, or the Gods.
Which shows how important they are in the movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We don't go into movies looking for a serious drama. If you want to go watch a serious action.
Mine wasn't a serious drama.
I know, but we didn't get, you're looking at a Hobbs and Deckard movie.
Mine was a movie. His is a fanboy wet dream.
Here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but you barely had action. That first half, people...
I said it. I'm not going to.
I'm going to say
he didn't describe any action. I described many action scenes. I'm not going to say then The Rock punches through a wall and he takes up this guy and he breaks his back over his knee. I'm not going to say all that. I was giving you the plot. You asked for the pitch. I'm not going to go blow for blow through each action sequence. Okay. I brought tanks. He brought nothing.
I can't breathe.
I protest.
Okay.
Move on.
Let's calm down. All right. Let's just move on. Because clearly, I already got yelled at. So, Round 4. So, Jen, you have to at least score this to stay alive for the tiebreaker. What is the worst action movie of all time?
Am I going first?
Jen?
Oh,
Yep,
thank God.
Jen, just go first.
Okay.
Hopefully, I don't get yelled at this time.
I might swear because this freaking
It's
movie.
fine.
All right,
Go
the
ahead.
worst action
We're
film
in an
of all
attitude here.
time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the worst action film of all time happens to come from one of the best action franchises of all time, and that would be A Good Day to Die Hard. I don't believe I'm even calling this a film. It is a piece of trash. It sets the original on fire and then pisses on the ashes, and it just pisses me off so much. This is one of the few times where I really, really, really wanted to walk out of the theater. I've never done that. I apologize to all the people that I said, oh, we should go see the new Die Hard movie. I apologize to all those people that I just brought. I go, I'm sorry. I will pay for your ticket. We should have seen Warm Bodies, of all things. That was the other thing that was playing at the same day. I was like, oh, I wish I saw the stupid teen zombie drama movie instead of A Good Day to Die Hard. Bruce Willis, it's not John McClane. Bruce Willis is in this movie. It's not John McClane. He is totally phoning it in more than he's ever done before. It is a complete mess. It makes Die Hard 2 look like The Godfather Part 2, okay? Let's see. We got director John Moore, the creator of such classic gems in cinema as Max Payne and the remake of The Omen, which is a complete shot-for-shot remake. We have the writer Skip Woods, who is the brilliant author behind X-Men Origins Wolverine and Hitman 47. So yeah, we have brilliant team behind this. Oh, and let's bring in Hollywood's favorite bad boy right now, Jai Courtney, who is just here and begs, he makes you beg for the days of Justin Long and his stupid little computer hacking shit from the Live Free to Die Hard. And anyway, this film, the judge has walked away in my despise of this film. Basically, it's just, should I keep talking with him not listening? Or does this mean that I already won?
No, I think it was, I don't know what just happened.
I knew you. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. That movie, that horrible movie made me want water.
Yeah, I might puke in a minute. Anyway, this film, it's from the days of Hollywood where we decided, hey, Russia's cool right now. Let's go to Russia. So it's just there's nothing in this film. We have Jai Courtney, who let's make John McClane's kid a CIA agent too, so that he can also do badass shit because Bruce Willis, we know Bruce Willis won't actually do anything in this movie, so let's get someone else to do it for him. It didn't work out. Anyway, there's no like big moments in this movie. There's no big boss fights. There's no iconic action sequences. There's a terrible sequence where some random guy is dancing with carrots or something because someone saw Clockwork Orange and thought it was cool to have a villain be dancing and singing. We got one of the worst shot car chases of all seen, where we're zoomed in on like a bumper so we can't actually see what's going on and all the cars are the same color. We got John McClane is just screaming, I'm on vacation, continuously throughout this movie, when we know for a fact that he's not on vacation. He's here to get his son. But anyway, it's boring, it's dull, it's confusing, it's just this ugly, drained color palette throughout, and it's just a shell of its former glory. And they all died 100 times over in this thing, as bad as like Live Free to Die Hard was with that jet plane, like jumping into a swimming pool through multiple levels of a decrepit building into this swimming pool in Chernobyl. Have fun with your cancer. All right, so I'm done with this movie. Take it away. Go ahead. I dare you to have something worse than that.
Yeah. Okay, now, to be fair.
Oh, that movie's a sickness. That is the worst. I agree. I'm not saying right now, it is the worst action movie I've ever seen. I hate that. It's like my third least favorite movie of all time. Yeah. That made me disrespect Die Hard, and I never thought I'd ever see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's the disrespect to Die Hard. Now, okay, now I had to, because sometimes there's some controversy over the interpretation of your questions.
Yes, I know that firsthand. Yeah.
Yeah. But that being said, I had to look deep into my soul, and this movie I actually saw. This
You
movie
have
came
a
out in
bad movie
19.
in your soul?
Oh, I've got a ton of them, but this
Well, he's
one,
done deep into his soul before,
this
and he wanted
this,
to actually.
this one hurts me because this should have been just a dumb screwball laugh comedy, action comedy. But for some reason, back in the late '90s, we tried to get Dennis Rodman on
Oh my
screen.
Oh no.
And I'm not talking about the '97 Stinkfest classic that is Double Team, because that was actually a little bit fun. That is one
That
of
was-
that movie actually has a great climax.
I dig the shit out of that movie.
I'm talking about 1999's shitfest known as Simon Says, spelled S-E-Z, by the way, because apparently that was a thing back in the 90s. So Rodman plays this. I don't even know what the fuck he does because the movie doesn't tell me what the fuck he does. Guy named Simon, who is this badass who can, who's trying to basically be like a freelance mercenary. Okay, again, you're trying to tell me on a basketball player being a freelance mercenary. That does not fucking work for a second. Pardon my French, guys.
Controversy.
Because my folks are watching this. So
Are they really?
they are. But that being said, and then here's the best part. He has these dancing cyber monks. These monks who work with technology, work with advanced technology that is beyond anything that we can do currently right now. And they are a couple of fat, lazy a-holes, frankly speaking. Now, how can this get worse? Well, we have a plot that is so borrowed from every single action movie ever. Oh, he has to, rescue this kidnapped girl because, guy wants a secret from her father, and he has to get to the girl to get the dad saved, and there's this arms dealer. It's like, why are we doing this? This is literally the plot of every single action movie ever made. And the worst part's not Rodman. The worst part is 1999 Dane Cook as the sidekick.
Oh my god.
Trying to sell me that miserable little turd pile can be an action star.
Christian Harloff's twin brother.
Yeah, sorry. Christian, get a better twin brother, one who knows how to fucking act and make me laugh.
At least yours isn't the one from the Maze Runner.
Ooh, yeah, true. But look.
Yeah.
Yes, Good Day Die Hard, awful movie, but that's because we had hope. This one, it does nothing right. The soundtrack is so laughable, it is pathetic. The editing, there is a shot where literally it goes from Simon just driving his motorcycle normally on the street, and then another shot where he's randomly in the air like 5 feet and then back on the street. Next shot, it's like, why would you do that? So here's the thing. Good Day Die Hard, awful. But at least I can see that there was some attempt at competent filmmaking. This movie had a big budget and no competence in any of the filmmaking whatsoever. So sorry, Jen, but Simon Says it's gonna be worse than Good Day Die Hard.
I mean, if you look at if we say what was the worst comic book movie, easily Kazam. But that's not. It's kind of an
We don't
action
talk
movie.
about that movie.
Not about the spirit, Jesus.
Or Steel. Speaking of
Oh
Shaq.
God.
But anyway, 2 minutes on the clock. Go ahead, guys.
All right, here's the problem with your movie. No one has seen your movie. There were no expectations behind your movie. It was the 90s. That's what action movies were. You get drunk, you get high, you go and you watch Dennis Rodman run around for a little while, and you laugh at him. That's what you're supposed to do for that movie. If there was a budget for your movie, it was all in Rodman's salary. So, like, the fact that they even had sets is amazing. So, honestly, I jumped on Dancing Cyber Monks. That sounds freaking awesome. I want to see this movie. But anyway, it's easy to forget a movie you haven't seen. I cannot forget A Good Day to Die Hard. It is forever emblazoned on my memory, and just it killed one of my favorite characters. And the expectations for Die Hard were so high. There was literally no expectations for your movie. And everybody knows Dennis Rodman's not going to be a good actor. Dane Cook, nobody probably knew him at that point. But I will argue Dane Cook is an action star. He's in The Waffler, in Mystery Men. He has Truth Syrup, and he's also in Mr. Brooks, which is actually a pretty good movie.
Good luck,
But
Chuck.
anyway,
Actually, yes, that's
Good luck, Chuck.
Yeah,
Actually,
so-
an Employee of the Month is up there too.
and yeah.
Sure. But okay. Here's the thing, though. Bruce Willis has not had. I will argue Bruce Willis has not had a good performance since somewhere around the. I would say Live Free or Die Hard. Ever since
Moonrise
he's just been
Kingdom.
collecting paychecks. We agree to disagree.
Every time he works with Wes Anderson, he's great.
Like I said, we agree to disagree. He's been collecting paychecks basically ever since Live Free or Die Hard, which again, Moonrise Kingdom, whatever. Agree to disagree. He has been phoning it in ever since. Every single action movie that you see, he just looks like the same old tired shtick. Of course that's why. But we are trying to build up a career that could have worked potentially, because like I said,
No one was trying to build up Dennis Rodman's acting career. Let's not joke about this. They wanted to make a quick buck off of one of the weirdest best.
All right. Okay, final argument and rebuttals. Go ahead, Jen.
Anyway, A Good Day to Die Hard. It was a knife to my soul. Loving John McClane he's one of the most iconic members of the action movie genre, and to see him fall so low is just it's devastating. And it's a movie that everyone was going to check out. This movie, if you're a fan of Die Hard, you're gonna see the other one. It doesn't matter if Bruce Willis hasn't made a good movie in a while. You believe in him because you've seen greatness from him, so you're gonna give him a shot. We've seen no greatness from Dennis Rodman other than hitting three throws and 3-pointers. So there were no expectations. That's a movie that it's like Flash Gordon and all those old 50s. You just want to go and shut your mind off and have fun. Good Day to Die Hard, you said they tried and they failed. That to me is worse. If you actually tried and you put this huge budget and tried to get all these people on board, coming back to a fan base that has been faltering, and to just completely spit in their face, that's what makes it the worst action movie of all time.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Boy, I tell you, this is a real David and Goliath situation. I don't care if I have the lead, but no, this is gonna be tough because
it's gonna be hard for me.
Okay. Yes, there was a lot of expectation on A Good Day to Die Hard, and you could argue that might make it worse. But the fact that this movie was so awful that it killed the career of the director, the screenwriter, Dennis
Who was the
Rodman.
director? Did he have a career before him?
Yeah, who's the director?
The director. Sorry. Well,
I
because
pulled up mine. I showed you their filmography.
Okay, sorry. Kevin Elders is the guy.
I'm genuinely curious.
Okay.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, keep going.
Yes. He worked on the Iron Eagle series. He worked on a couple others.
Oh yeah, I'm such a fan of the Iron Eagle series. How dare they ruin his career with the Dennis Rodman film?
My point being, yes, this movie has been seen by virtually nobody, and I prefer it stay that way because I'm a little sad by myself for having come across in the first place. I watched it on a bad movie night with a couple of friends, and I wanted to kill my friend after that. But the other thing, though, too, the fact that it actually brought us some cool ideas, because let's be honest, that whole Cybermonks thing I was talking about earlier, again, do we not what, Jen, right now, would you pay to see that movie be made?
I would much rather watch Cybermonks than anything that happened in A Good Day to Die Hard, so that means it shouldn't be the worst movie ever made.
Yeah, but when it's used as an obnoxious joke, that's worse than anything.
At least it was a joke. There were no jokes in A Good Day to Die Hard, other than I'm on vacation, which was not true.
Jack Courtney, he's always good for a laugh. Anyway.
He's actually pretty good.
Good for his own.
Anyway.
Yeah, he actually is.
He actually was. Yeah, I seriously gotta give him credit on that one. But yes, which one is technically speaking the worst? The one that tried but failed, or the one that has absolutely no value to it? Because bad is the absence of good. And when you have something that has no good, I'll argue that's worse. So that again is why Simon Says, again, I don't know why I fucking watched this piece of shit, but that is to me still the worst
To
action movie.
paraphrase Vince Vaughn in Dodgeball, I used to have a lot of expectations and I got let down, and now I have no expectations, and I gotta tell you, it feels phenomenal. To watch a movie with no expectations would be a dream come true compared to watching A Good Day to Die Hard.
Okay. Holy shit, this is gonna be hard. Just on the point of to help me out, I want to hear both of you though, real quick. Now, you can't say you're like, but if you were me and you were in the situation, who do you guys?
I would sit you down and watch Cybermonks. That's what I would do.
I ain't watched no damn Cyberpunks, but just as a judge and judging yourself and someone else, where would you guys go?
I would honestly go with Jen.
Okay.
I would go with myself, not to toot my own horn, but I agree with myself. So,
Well, look, I like what Chris says. I looked up the poster, and yeah, the poster, it looks so bad.
I gotta look this up afterwards.
Simon Says has a 0% Rotten Tomatoes. Good Day
Because
to
no
Die
one saw
Hard.
it.
Um,
Or Chris saw it and he said no.
yeah,
And that was
I'm gonna go Jen, because look, say what you will, but Die Hard did disappoint a lot of people. I actually am one of the few people who adore Die Hard 1, and Chris knows I love that movie. That is well, you know I like
Who was
that.
disappointed by Die Hard 1?
I think he meant
No, I'm talking
something.
about Die Hard 4, Die Hard
okay.
5, going into this. I was hoping, because I like Die Hard 4.
Oh, you like Die Hard 4? I
like
actually do
Die
too.
Hard 4.
Yeah, me too.
It really
Like, it's
felt
very different,
great.
but I like it.
And it was great. But I was so excited for this movie. It was this, and it was G.I. Joe. And G.I. Joe, I still think, is a really good movie that came out that year. This movie sucked. And look, Lone Ranger was that close and After Earth, but nothing compared to this, because my expectations were like this, and I thought maybe there was some redemption for this. There's not. And look, I have not seen Simon Says, but knowing the 90s, a lot of people didn't give a shit about action movies. You know, after 1995. Because
Yeah.
what
If it didn't have Van
what
Damme or
happened
Seagal, no
before
one
that?
cared.
You had Batman and Robin. You had Speed 2 Cruise Control. You have Anaconda, which is a oh my lord.
Speed 2 is a GMP for me.
Are you hating
But-
on Anaconda? Really?
Yeah, Anaconda's fine.
Really? I love
Anaconda
Anaconda.
is one of my favorite.
John Voight.
No, I'm serious.
John Voight.
John Voight.
Anaconda.
Halo.
I
Ice Cube.
love.
How can you
Anaconda.
go
Ice
wrong?
Cube.
I'm
Really
saying-
early Owen
I'm
Wilson.
saying I love Anaconda, and I hate snakes, but I love Anaconda. But what I'm saying,
It wasn't a snake, so.
that's not creepy at all. Like I was saying though, I think Jen gave kind of as people going into a movie like this. I think so. We'll go with that, but we are going into the split. The what do you call it in Schmodown? The
Well,
death
I just call it tiebreaker.
tiebreaker.
Sudden death.
Okay, so for the tiebreaker, you guys, we're gonna do the speed round. So everybody gets 20 seconds and then 10 seconds for your thing and your final rebuttal.
So 25
Okay.
seconds for first thing and then 10 seconds for rebuttal?
Yeah.
2 rebuttals?
No, one rebuttal.
1 rebuttal?
But you get 20 seconds
Okay.
for one. Now this is a tough one. What is the greatest movie character in the history of film?
Darth Vader.
History of movies that you love as a whole. You can love, but who is the greatest of all time? And if you don't want this question, I have another one in store too. But it involves
I already
the
answered.
rocks.
Oh, she already answered.
I think.
She took mine.
What'd you say, Jen?
Darth Vader.
She said
Okay.
Vader.
She said Vader. I know. It's tough for Chris.
5,
Hold on.
4, 3.
Michael Corleone.
Shit, that's why I answered so fast.
All right, I'll do 10 seconds. 10.
I just said Michael Corleone.
Michael Corleone. Okay. All righty. So because it is tied, I'm gonna let Jen go first because she did give her answer first. So 20
Gave it a lot
seconds.
faster too.
Oh, stop. 20 seconds. Go.
Okay, Darth Vader is one of the most iconic figures in all of cinema from one of the most iconic movies. He is a villain, but you also see the humanity to him throughout the series. He has a great character arc. He's intimidating. He's cool for kids. He's cool for adults. Everyone loves this character. He has the best theme music of all time. He's just an overall amazing character. It just transcends all villainy.
Okay. Chris, whenever you're ready. Go.
Michael Corleone is the greatest character of all time because he actually has the more believable arc between Darth Vader and himself, because he is a character who wants to do good but ultimately gets dragged in doing the family business, which is inherently bad. And he also has one of the greatest performances from one of the greatest actors of all time, that being Al Pacino, a role that for some reason never won an Oscar for it, but oh well.
Okay. Now, after this 10 seconds, when I hear both, I'm going to play your music, and that will decide the winner. Now,
Hold on.
We got the 10 seconds.
Are we taking turns on the 10-second rebuttal? Like,
Yes,
not
yes,
at the same time?
We're doing the
No, not
same one like we did last one. But just saying this real quick, because we're in the tiebreaker with the new rules of the game. This is where I release the music, then we'll know who won. So, whenever you're ready, Jim.
Okay. Al Pacino never won an Oscar because he was surrounded by better actors. Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, James Caan, Robert Duvall, they all did fantastic acting. And Michael Corleone's story completely falls off the map in Godfather 3.
Your time. I know. These are tough. Chris, when you're ready. Go.
If we gotta play that argument, Darth Vader has the same thing. Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill are better actors in the original trilogy, and Ewan McGregor was a better actor in the prequel trilogy. No matter which way you go about it, Michael Corleone is a much better character, had a much more believable arc.
Okay.
Darth Vader didn't enter into the trilogy until the last final second, so I'm not counting Obi-Wan on that.
Okay. When we hear the music, you will know who the winner is. Just give me 1 second. Hopefully it doesn't go
If
commercial.
I can hear the music.
You can hear it. You'll hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, when the music goes up, we will say who your title champion is. Whenever it goes up. The wait. The wait. You can see how anxious Chris is right now. And Jen. Chris is like praying to the gods.
I know, he's like, I need this. I don't care. Here you go.
No, I'm just glad because after this I can go to bed.
Yeah. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and the new world heavyweight champion of the world, Chris the Dohmen Streak. This was probably this was the toughest question because you literally had two iconic characters. Now, I would have personally said Han Solo because he still is my favorite movie character, but I have Indiana Jones in a very close second. I think the thing that got me most was what credit at the very end. It is, we said this before, but we're going into what you guys said in that 10-second rebuttal. That really counts. And I just think, Jan, he gave it a little more. He
said exactly what I said, but he just flipped it. And he argued that Luke, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford are better actors than Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro. And I will point out that I answered really, really fast because I thought this was for speed, and that was the first thing that popped in my head. And he took a full minute to decide something else that was better.
I will say this. This was a hell of a fight, especially for a title game. You had me right here. You really did. I was about to say you, but I just think with everything else.
And to be honest, I'm amazed you still said me for the Hobbs spinoff because, like I said, I would have given it to her. I would have.
I can't believe you said that. I thought that was the guaranteed point for me.
Here's the thing with that. I would probably am gonna get that like from everybody. I just it's a personal opinion, but I thought
I'm writing him a letter.
I like this story a little more. and it's about who gave it better, in my opinion, as a
I'm
I'm
judge.
tagging him on Twitter. I'm gonna send him this video and have him decide, and then we'll go back to
please
this.
don't.
No, please do. Please do.
I did
Seriously,
enough
I'll
shit
tweet it
for
out
this.
for you on my personal Twitter.
And by the way, my script is totally for sale. If the Fast and Furious franchise needs some help, I'll totally help out with the Hobbs script. I freaking love this franchise. I don't know why, but I do, and it's amazing, and I love it. And The Rock and Statham are honestly, they're the best thing in it right now. So I need this movie in my life.
What about, though? First off, round of applause to both of you. To even go to a tiebreak, awesome. Both of you. Like, especially because Jen is the queen and she has earned it. Now, where we're going at right now is we are in.
All right, Dave, hold on.
So we are getting
you're
into
that
next.
Hold on. Now pick it up. You should be okay now.
Okay. So we're going into summer fights, and that is coming up at the very end of July. Now, Chris will defend his title. This is the toughest part, though. You're defending, and that is hard because it's not easy to defend. But Jen, you're kind of open right now, and you have a slot. If you would like to come at summer fights, is there anybody you want to take on? Anybody in the roster for an event match?
Honestly, I'd like to see some new fighters in the league probably before I make my call out. Like, I would like to smack down Evan again just for all that craziness.
Yes!
That he decided to bring out for a video that no one had seen first, which was not very professional for someone who actually runs the page. But...
How about this? I'll make you a deal. How about this? If Evan loses to Matt Beer, that is a lock.
Sure.
Okay. And but by the way, incredible fight, by the way. Like this, I guarantee you'll have at least one of the title by the very end. I guarantee in the next couple, like the next round sometime soon, I know Chris can agree, you will get one. And don't be disappointed in yourself because you gave a hell of a fight. A lot of people don't even get a single point. So to say that and to at least say that you went to tiebreaker, that's saying something. But going into next week, Chris, we're entering the promos, so we get to say promos and stuff like that. So starting tomorrow, anybody can put stuff on the Facebook page that are promos in our Attitude Era. Chris, do you have any last message you would like to say to Evan and Matt, noting that they are fighting at the end of May?
Good luck getting a point, both of you. Look, obviously, I love Evan. I love that little shithead because he does a lot of great work. A lot of great work for my channel, but him versus Matt Beer, it just they're trying to make their Schmodown a thing, and I guess the records do hold up now, but
they are tied.
They are tied, technically speaking, for freaking dead last. But
I don't have a win.
All that being said, though, I want to get some fresh blood in here too. And dude, don't throw me in right away. Get the newbies going.
Yeah.
My original thought was
I want to defend my belt against someone who has worked their way up.
Okay.
For some reason, I won tonight. I wasn't expecting to. I was honestly expecting
fresh meat. That's what we want.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna say: is Chris isn't fighting for like 2.5 months.
Oh, thank you.
You're not fighting. Like summer fights isn't until the end of the
July.
But plenty of time for new guys to come in.
Like we're technically not even in the summer yet. Yeah. So.
Well, we're getting
summer start. We'll start on Friday with Guardians.
Yeah. True.
I will say this. Challenge. I want to challenge to a regular fight, no classics, but I think it's if she's back from spring, whenever she's back from her vacation, I'm up for it if she is.
You two want a rematch? Oh, good luck.
I want a rematch, classic movie fights, and normal one.
You want to embarrass yourself again? All right.
That is a shit show I will happily watch, Jen. Jen, you know I'm rooting for you all day with that one. Because, as you guys saw in that match when I hosted that one, he didn't have a chance.
The only time he won a point was when he picked the movie that I wanted and we made a deal that he could have it. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah. But no, seriously, though. Jen, I did not expect to win today. So, great fight.
Yeah, great fight.
I'm glad that we had this opportunity. And,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a virtual handshake, and
Yep.
I can't wait for when Rasica can get his head out of his ass, so I can get you in the fan schmodown.
Much respect, and I love that. I love that there's respect. By the way, if Jen and me ever face in a schmodown match, I'm game. Because I think that would be like the case match that went on today. So, by the way, people, if you have not checked that out, please go do. It's at Take 3 Podcast. Now that is probably one of the best
I am
matches,
really looking forward to Schmodown. Like I love arguing and everything, but I'm a trivia nerd. I run if everyone's familiar with Sporkle.com, I'm the movie editor over there. I write for Schmoes Know. I see movies all the time. I was a contestant for Jeopardy. Like, this is my thing. I play along. I want to kick someone's ass and the Schmodown. So yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, where can everybody find you, Miss Queen?
Me?
Jump?
Oh yeah.
You can find me tooling around Schmoville, Facebook, Jen Kemp, and on Twitter at JK Meme Queen. I didn't choose Twitter; it chose me. Everyone told me to get one, so I have one. So.
Here's the thing: I think Jen will come back. I think she will have another title belt chance in like the next 4 months, 5 months. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'll have a belt from The Rock when I give him my script.
Hey.
And that'll be before you, Day.
All right. Well, the Streak himself, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band MN. I just dropped a couple new songs.
It's a really good band, by the way, folks.
Thank you.
Really good, folks. Really good.
Appreciate it. And then I just dropped a couple new songs on my Reverb Nation page. Then you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Take 3 Productions, where we have the fan movie trivia schmodown, as well as some reactions, and we also do a lot of movie news. And then also you can find our channel on Twitter at Fan Schmodown. Dave, thanks for having me on. Jen,
okay, guys. No problem, guys. I can see these two definitely competing against someday. I mean,
and I'll be scared shitless.
But
it's inevitable. We're basically the same brains. So that's why it's happening.
Here's pretty much you guys are. Here's the thing. Okay, so we're getting into the next fight is in Summer Fights in July. We are going to move Last Fighter Standing a couple months behind because now we have a champ before the Big Fan Movie Bowl at the very end of the year. So in October or November, probably a month before, we're going to do Summer Movie Fights. Now, I mean, not the Last Fighter Standing, and then we're going to introduce a new one later next. I know a lot of people are.
And yeah, and for those of you who are asking what is the Last Fighter Standing, it's currently sitting on my computer. I just have to finish up the editing. You have to realize
we have all.
I have two jobs and I run a YouTube channel, so I'm a little busy. But I'm almost done with it. I just gotta wrap it up and then get it up there. So.
And the Aaron Turner fight, I think, will follow the next day, and so will the 1 point with Evan Engine, which is probably right now no point. But I'm gonna say this: congratulations to Chris, congratulations to Jen because she got this far. It's also the tiebreaker, which is a tough thing to do. So congratulations to both of you guys. We will be back on Monday with Sabarath versus Gregory. So look forward to that, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And next time, fight on.
Take care.